Hi guys, good morning. Hopefully everyone's good. Today is my last day to go to work, and then I will be off for a few days, so I'm really excited about that. And we're gonna have my dad over for Thanksgiving and just, kind of do the norm. I also want to say in this video, I know that some people are not everybody has parents or people that they can spend Thanksgiving with. If you're someone who's spending the day alone, I talked about this last year too. I think it was closer to Christmas when I did the last video. But it's okay. If you're doing Thanksgiving solo, that's okay. I always said, like, if I if I was doing Thanksgiving solo, I would just make it a day of self-care, or make that my volunteer day instead of sitting at home. There's a lot that you can do. You can just watch Netflix. You can get some new skincare stuff that you want to try and make it a self-care day. I feel like Thanksgiving it's like this holiday that's publicized to be like, oh, you have to be at this big long dining table with all the beautiful fixins and all the family comes in town, and that's just not what Thanksgiving is for a lot of people. And it's not abnormal, it's not weird, it's not different. It is something that is very normal for a large percent of the population. So if you fall into that category, spend the day doing something that you usually wouldn't do for yourself, or maybe you don't usually have time to do it. Whether it's like a project around the house or doing literally nothing if you're, someone who's usually really busy. So I wanted to say that in this video, even though I've mentioned it before. I know the holidays are really hard for a lot of people. The holidays will never be the same for me since my grandma passed, and that's been a long time ago. But the holidays will never be the same for me. They were not the same from the year that she passed all the way up until now. They're just not the same. And that's, unfortunately part of life is trying to come up with new traditions or new ways to do things. But I am definitely someone who gets stuck in the past, and I really dwell on wanting things to be how they used to be. So I really think about that a lot, and I also think about people who are solo during the holidays. So I just wanted to say that. Not that y'all need my ideas. Like, my ideas are not life-changing or groundbreaking. Sometimes just thinking about a different way to do things is helpful. And I don't know, maybe I mentioned something that y'all haven't thought of in a while. So either way, what I want to talk about today is the entitlement of influencers. And this is obviously something that I cover a lot. I also talk about influencers that are not vlogging their kids or their family. Something that I see with so many influencers is just pure entitlement, pure greed. And speaking of greed, before we get into what I want to talk about, I want to throw in this video that Love Meg's husband Justin is now charging people through a paywall site like Meg has been. You can pay him to assist with planning a trip. So he's basically doing like a paid travel advisor, trip planner type of situation. Let me tell you guys, if you are looking to plan a trip that is domestic or international, all you need to do is go onto YouTube and look at travel vloggers. There are tons of free videos. There's so many different blogs and people who give out free advice and people who have learn lessons and they share the lessons with people. And it's literally all free. There is literally no reason to pay someone like Justin Hickman money to help plan your trip. That's one of the stupidest things that I've heard of. And I know that, you know, travel agents collect a fee to do that kind of stuff. But let's be honest, we're also living in the age of social media and YouTube, where there are people that travel full-time for a living and they happen to upload content for free, and they will give you their hacks at no charge. So I feel like travel agents, yes, they're still popular and some people still use them. But let's be honest, if you can pay someone, or if you can just do a little bit of extra homework for yourself and watch a few extra YouTube videos and, you know, listen to what this person has to say, it might take you a little bit more time, but it's saving you the fee of paying someone. So I saw that he was doing that, and it just completely made me laugh. The greed and the thirst for money is so consistent with these influencers. Do I think that sometimes they can offer something that might be worth a fee? Sure. Is it very often? No. Because what I typically see is influencers wanting to charge people money for things that they can get for free. If you think about someone like Brianna Kay, who I haven't talked about in a while, Brianna Kay wants to charge people for things like answers to where she buys her home decorations, and you know, join her Patreon for to-do lists and ways to get organized. Like, all of this kind of stuff is free. So I just think that it's really funny when I see that consistently from influencers, where they constantly just want to say, oh, pay me for this. Like, you have to at least have enough self-awareness to say, can they get this for free? Should I be charging for this, or do I look like a greedy little monster? Most of them don't do that, as we know. So anyway, moving on to what I was going to talk about a couple of minutes ago. There is a TikTok page called A Fashion Nerd. And A Fashion Nerd is a page where she styles clothing, she shares fashion advice, so on and so forth. What she ended up doing is contacting a small business who has a studio, and basically this girl has a studio where it's, I don't want to say it's like a selfie world, but she has really cool sets where people can come and do photo shoots, and whether it's for advertising or just for social media stuff or for you know, a website, she has a really cool studio. And as we know, usually if you want to use someone's studio space that they have spent time, effort, money, and energy building out, there's going to be a fee for that. But in the mind of influencers, their entitlement is so grandiose that they literally think that they should be able to use spaces like this for free in exchange for advertising. And I know that some companies do things this way. It is that company's right to say, yes, I can do this, or no, I don't want to do this. And if a company says, no, I don't want to do this, then that should be the end of the conversation. There should be no bargaining, begging, asking twice, asking 3 times. They already said no, so move on with your day. Well, instead of doing that, A Fashion Nerd decided to leave a very nice voice memo for this business owner. And I will play a part of that message right now.
When I charge a lot of money for postings and we get like 12 million hits on our...
And that's disappointing. That's crazy. Who runs this account? Are you 90 years old and not know how influencers work? So that voice memo was left by someone who I have made a video about before, a fashion nerd / Amy Rowland. I was critical of her for centering her content around her child. I felt that it was exploitative, and I voiced my disappointment because I was a fan of her until she started basically only posting videos of her kid. And now she is leaving really nasty messages because a creator space didn't want to let her use the space for free. And after I posted my video about Amy, I started getting harassed by Amy's friends and family. And I was blocked by Amy's main account, but her friend was leaving literally hundreds of comments on my videos, like straight up harassing me. And seeing these leaks texts come out, I think is just a really good reminder that you don't know who anybody is offline. So I guess she didn't really need her friends to go send me hundreds of hate comments when she was going to show her true colors all along.
But as you could tell in that voice memo, she felt like because of the size of her social media presence, she should be able to use this space for free because she is so popular and she gets all the clicks and all the likes. That is so corny. That is so corny. I could not imagine advertising my amount of self-importance to anyone, but especially someone who has a thriving business and they told me no. Why would you then follow up and literally tell that person how much self-importance and how little self-awareness you have? Aside from her, massive level of, ego and arrogance, I also want to talk about the fact that she is one of these influencers who saw that her child would bring her page more traffic. So now she features her child a lot. Her young daughter also has her own TikTok page. And TikTok is not a place for kids. TikTok is not a place to allow a small child to have their own page, in my opinion. There are a lot of really weird people that hang out on TikTok. I think that we've seen that from the comment section of the Doherty Dozen many times, as well as pages like Ren Eleanor, Ren and Jacqueline. I've talked about her before. There are just a lot of really weird people that go to TikTok specifically for content featuring young children. But it's so clear to see how her motive changed, because early on in her page, she wasn't really showing her kid that much. And then she made the transition to basically showing her kid in almost every single TikTok that she does. And it's because people are infatuated with her child. They think her daughter is so cute and so funny in these little TikToks that she puts up. But she's pretty typical. I'm not going to say that anything is super important or super different when it comes to this page. But her leaving that small business owner that voice memo really just reminded me of how cringy these influencers are. You're just so wrapped up in your own, what you think is fame and success and clout, where you just market yourself to businesses that you want to do business with. But instead of paying the business, you want to use your, what you think is internet fame, in order to save you money and be able to use their space for free. I'm sure she probably does this with hotels and all kinds of different companies. But yeah, self-importance with influencers is such a funny, it's kind of one of the top three. I think that most influencers share entitlement, greed, and a huge ego. Especially once they get over, say, I've seen it with less, but definitely like that 100,000 follower mark. They really just think that they are doing big things, and they'll constantly, anyone who announces how many subscribers they have on a normal basis makes me cringe. If you constantly need to remind people that, oh, you have a big subscriber count, so what? So people are supposed to kiss your ass? So people are supposed to bow down or treat you differently than they would treat someone else? So that part to me just always makes me think twice, and I think influencer culture is going to go through a big change. And not just influencers, but just people that have this massive amount of self-importance. I don't think that that's what people are here for anymore. I think that people are here for, people they feel like they can relate to, people feel like they might have something in common with the person that they're watching. The entitlement, while, most of us are having to budget for our groceries, why do we want to listen to someone tell us about how many subscribers they have or how many followers they have? Kick rocks. Nobody cares. You're literally nobody in the grand scheme of things. Remember that. But either way, I think that's going to be my rant for today. So tell me how you feel. Do you know about the fashion nerd? Did you hear about this kind of unfolding over on TikTok? And what do you think about Justin charging people to help plan their trip? I find it all kind of funny, and I wanted to talk for a few minutes this morning. So either way, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.